The women of Troy, NCAA champions once again. Pomona Pitzer adds another Division III championship to their trophy case. And this weekend, the National League Championship. It's all coming up next on The Counterattack. Hi everyone, Greg Mescall here. Thanks for joining us on The Counterattack here on Overnght and USA Water Polo. We start things off first in San Diego. The NCAA Women's Water Polo Championship this year marked the 25th anniversary of the NCAA sponsoring women's water polo, and never before had Cal and USC met in a final. Ended up being a really good game. How did they get there? Well, for the Cal Bears, they upended their rival and the defending NCAA champ Stanford in a really competitive match in the semifinals, and then competition. That was the name of the game all weekend long. Battle of LA in the other semifinal. USC escapes UCLA to reach the championship. So to come down to the Bears and the Trojans, we had the live coverage on ESPNU. Take a look back at some of the highlights.
Coming to this tournament and feeling bad and wanting to be there for your team, and it's all of our teammates didn't feel very good, and just able to bounce back in the tournament and in this game, and you just see the relentlessness that our team has, and I'm so proud of them.
You were a sophomore captain. That is pretty rare. Tell us how you led this team and led them in this game to win this championship.
Yeah, I think doing whatever I need to do to get our team on top and get us together. I think there were moments in the game where we looked a little frantic and kind of wasn't our USC water polo. So just bringing them back, telling them to smile, telling them to play for each other and just play water polo. Do whatever is best in the moment. And I think, like, our team, we already set ourselves up for success.
You had the heartbreak last year in Indianapolis.
Yes.
How did you take that feeling and turn it into something positive this time around?
Yeah, I think you can take anything from fuel to fire, and I think coming from our men's side, seeing my brother's team in the finals and losing, and last year in NCs, and just little moments that we really use as fire to motivate us. But we just are really hungry. We call ourselves dogs, and yeah, we ate tonight.
Dogs gotta eat. How is it to see Casey Moon get his first national championship as a head coach?
It's so cool. I mean, we fight for everyone. We fight for our head coach. We fight for each other. But I think it's such a cool moment for Casey and his career, and it's just the start. And I think USC, we have always been there, and to be able to finish tonight was just so special.
And we're going to talk to her in a moment, but how about the play of your goalie, Anna Reed?
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, my gosh. I looked back at her, and I was like, heck yeah.
She was a stud tonight.
There's
phenomenal.
Casey Moon celebrating in the water. Emily Osmus, congrats on the championship. And wrap up our show here. Kaylee, your final thoughts here on this result for USC.
Just another special night tonight. USC Trojans get the job done. They get the W. Casey Moon gets his first. And we watched some amazing water polo this weekend. And, of course, it was a one-goal game in the NCAA National Championship.
Esther Varro, 3 goals for Cal, 11 saves for Talia Fonseca, but it's all USC. Anna Reed, 10 stops. Emily Osmus, Ava Stryker, 2 critical goals. Zinnia Plotz as well with 2. That's all for us here tonight. For my partner, Kaylee Gilchrist, for our producer, David Feldman, our director, David Hasselfeld, our entire crew here in San Diego, Greg Mescall saying, thanks so much for joining us. It's National Championship number 7 in the NCAA ranks for USC, and they do it in this 25th anniversary season. Congratulations to the women of Troy.
Once again, a big congratulations to USC, the Trojans, their 7th NCAA championship. They won one other national title in the pre-NCAA era. In any event, congrats to Casey Moon and the women of Troy. Now we go to Claremont, California. USA Water Polo Division III National Championship came down to the host, Claremont Mudscripts, and their next-door neighbor, Pomona Pitzer. These two have been there many times, but also a big shout-out in our third-place game, McAllister and Carthage making their way to the Division III Championship. Great to see for the growth of those two programs. All the matches from Claremont, they were live right here on Overnght. Let's take a look back at some of the big action from Sunday, where it was another big win for Pomona Pitzer.
Graham all the way up. Karstens! Finds Kratz with the big save. Is Hamilton. They'll still have it. Martin! Oh! They were trailing by 4. 6 goals in the fourth quarter, and they win it by 1. And Amberger has 4 in front. Amberger off the cage. Hugar lobs it to Brands-Lang, and that's 3. Side for CMS, 1 save as well, going for Stearns. Bounce shot into the back. Absolutely fooled everyone. Half a decade. Consistently. 5-time national champions in a row.
I mean, it's been so meaningful for me. It really made me love water polo, just like being with such an amazing coaching staff and also such an amazing team of girls. I think I'm so grateful for all the lessons that I've learned. This team has really pushed me to grow as a water polo player, but also outside the pool. And so I think it's given me a lot of confidence. And I'm just so grateful for like the amazing experience that I've had with such a great group of girls.
More on the women's college game and our big conversation when we hear from many members of the victorious USC squad on their NCAA crown. Now we turn to the National League, and we have reached the postseason, the National League Championship this weekend in Southern California. Huge day coming up on Saturday. Semifinals at Servite High School. The WPBQ gets going at noon at Servite, going to lead into some great semifinal action. Then Sunday at Woolett, it's the championships for both the 18U and Open Division. Don't forget, for that Open Division, Holos Law Group, Jon Wieman putting up $25,000 in prize money. We're going to hear from Jon Wieman a little bit later on as part of our big conversation. But what an event on tap this weekend. The National League has never been bigger. Competition gets started Friday. Free admission all weekend long. Schedule available now at usawaterpolo.org. All matches streaming right here live on Overnght. Live stats on 6-8 Sports. And again, the winner walking away with $15,000 in the Open Division. Second place, $7,000. Third place, $3,000. Teams are stacked going into this weekend, and we're looking forward to an epic weekend of water polo in Orange County. We'll have highlights next week on the show of all the happenings at the National League Championship. Now we turn to Team USA, women's national team in action. How about this turnaround for some athletes like Emily Osmus, Lucy Holland Ford? How about Ava Stryker, coming right off of an NCAA championship that finished on Sunday for those playing on USC and Cal, on a plane Monday to go to Europe, headed to the Netherlands because World Cup Division I action for Team USA, it starts Friday. That is the definition of a tight turn to get over to Europe and get ready to play high-stakes international water polo. Absolute no rest for some of the elite college athletes in the game. And it's an important event for Adam Krikorian and company. It's part of qualification proceedings for the World Cup final in Sydney, Australia, coming this July. So Team USA aiming to finish in the top 5 to punch their ticket to Sydney. We'll have more on the results for Team USA next week on the Counterattack. Action starts Friday, finishes early next week, and then we'll see where Team USA stands and if they'll be heading on to Australia this July. Full roster and schedule available now at usawaterpolo.org. We shared last week on the show who's headed to represent Team USA. Looking forward to seeing some veterans and some newcomers get an opportunity to cap up with the red, white, and blue. Now on to high school water polo in the state of Florida. FHSAA champs crowned, both boys and girls. Congratulations to Seminole High School claiming the girls' high school water polo championship. And then St. Thomas Aquinas wins it for the boys in Florida. Also, don't forget some new water polo emerging in North Florida next weekend, May 9th in Tallahassee. Area high schools getting together from Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Gainesville to play there at Florida State, with some programs in the Tallahassee area really building towards an official varsity season in Florida next season. So excited to see the growth of the game there in Florida. And again, a big congrats to Seminole and St. Thomas Aquinas for taking home championships. From Florida, we go all the way across the country to Boise, Idaho. The latest edition of the Mountain Madness tourney took place this past weekend in Boise. Big congratulations to all the top finishers there in another excellent sport growth event. On the 18U girls side, Tri-Valley, the champions, followed by Mesa and Bear River. 18U boys, Mesa top honors, Bear River and Treasure Valley rounding out the podium finishers. And in the 18U girls, congrats to Tri-Valley, the champion, followed by Mesa and Bear River. 18U boys, Mesa gets the gold medal, followed by Bear River and Treasure Valley. 14U mixed champions, Kearns Green out of Utah, Bear River, and Olympus Aquatics, more Utah representing well there in Idaho. Again, thanks to everyone that made this event happen in Idaho. Looking forward to Mountain Madness again next year. A lot of competition coming this summer, there's no doubt. Also some great recognition coming up June 19th, our annual USA Water Polo Hall of Fame induction luncheon set for Brea, California. It'll be the perfect way to kick off the Masters Nationals Championship weekend. 4 inductees headed in. We've told you already about them. Want to remind you to make sure you get your tickets to join us in Brea to honor 4 greats of the game. You've got San Diego coaching royalty in the former Aztec head coach Karen Crawford. How about New York Athletic Club legend and former Fordham great Chris Judge? And then you've got some Olympic medalists. You've got the Olympic silver medalist for the USA men, Peter Hudnut, and the Olympic champion out of Laguna Beach for the Team USA women, Annika Dries. Both Dries and Hudnut also former Stanford Cardinals. So the farm well represented. Information on how you can get tickets, tables, sponsor opportunities, all available now at usawaterpolo.org. Make sure you mark your calendar. We'll see you in Brea on June 19th for the Hall of Fame. As we told you earlier, the National League Championship is this weekend in Southern California. The big news this year, in addition to expanded play opportunities in a Northern California division and an 18U division, was prize money. Thanks to Jon Wieman, a water polo parent, a guy that loves aquatics, supports the sport, and his company, Holos Law Group, there's now a $25,000 prize purse at stake in the open division. $15,000 to the first place team, $7,000 to the second place team, $3,000 to the third place team. Never before in the National League, it has raised the stakes. You've seen teams level up, and it's going to add to the excitement this weekend at the National League Championship. With that in mind, our latest big conversation, it's with Jon Wieman from Holos Law Group as he shares a bit of his background and why he's so excited to help support the National League. Our latest big conversation here on The Counterattack with the National League Championship this weekend. We got to talk to the man who brought the prize purse to the final, Jon Wieman, Holos Law Group. Jon, how are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Jon, this is unprecedented. As we've talked about a bit throughout the season, never before has the National League had a prize purse attached to it. So thank you for that. We'll talk about that momentarily. But for starters, for people that maybe saw your name, saw Holos Law Group, tell us your background. What has you so passionate about water polo?
Sure. Well, kind of twofold. First, I have 2 kids that play, and so I'm involved in it, every day, every weekend on a pool deck, watching water polo, thinking about water polo. So that's a big piece. But my background and my passion comes a little bit from my swimming career. So I swam my whole life through college, and had friends who swam at the very highest level and watched them compete in the Olympics, and watched those friends of mine kind of struggle after college. What do you do? How do you train? How do you pay for this? Right. And there wasn't really a way for USA Swimming at the time for people to make money. And since then, USA Swimming has come up with a couple different, the TYR Pro Series and different swim meets where they have throughout the year where people can make money. And I thought, boy, oh boy, USA Water Polo should have that. There aren't that many opportunities for people to actually make money in this sport and continue to train, right? We want people to continue to train and opportunities for our youth teams to train against some of the best in our country. And so the prize money was just kind of a build on that, kind of the background, and a way to give back and build excitement for the sport.
So the prize money, $25,000, the purse divvied up amongst the top 3 teams. You win the whole thing this weekend. Then we're talking about the open division here in the National League. $15K there to that champion. That's a pretty nice chunk of change, as they might say, to divvy up amongst the guys. What have you sensed from a excitement standpoint around this idea that there is prize money available to the top 3 teams?
It does a couple of things. And I was excited to see clubs, maybe bring on more guys than they would have otherwise, right? It starts people talking. I know LA Athletic Club has brought people from Europe. Some people don't like that. Some people do, but it has people talking.
Sure.
Right. We want eyeballs. We want fans in the stands. We want people talking about water polo, and anything that can do that, I think, is a good thing. So prize money brings excitement. Prize money brings anticipation. I think it brings a higher level of competition. People maybe care a little bit more as we get to those semifinals this weekend. I think you're going to see the best, right? I mean, these are going to be some really good games, and it's not like $15,000 to the winner is life changing, but that can do a lot for a club, right? And it's anyone's game. There are any number of teams that can take this, so it's exciting to see teams maybe train a little bit more, maybe focus a little bit more, maybe bring on some players that otherwise may not have joined back to the club or joined the club. I think it's going to be exciting, and anything we can do to bring eyeballs to the sport, I think is good.
$15K to the first place team, $7 to the second place, and then $3,000 essentially your entry fee back for the third place team. This has been building, though. You think about making an investment like that in prize money, right? And there's signs, I would suspect, from your point of view, that it's worth it, right? The National League has been now running many, many years. People remember back to the olden days of the Premier League, but National League now over a decade old here, and really adding this season more teams, more competition than ever before. What did you notice in the last couple of years that had you excited about where this thing was going and maybe left you feeling like you're investing in something with a bright future?
Sure. This year, the effort put in by Tom Davis in the last couple of years, especially this year, can't be overstated. I mean, the time and effort he puts into building this league to where it is today is amazing. And the support that USA Water Polo, Jamie Davis, you, Greg, everyone, the support has been great. But the changes that I've seen, just number one, more teams, right? That helps, right? The growth of the sport, more games, more weekends. And the biggest thing that I like from this year is the inclusion of the 18U teams.
Sure.
And so now when you have 18U teams playing on the same pool deck as the men's league, you give our younger players not only an opportunity for our USA youth teams to play against some of these teams, but also the 18U teams to see these players, to watch guys that play in college and after college and Olympians and people to look up to, right? I mean, what we need to help grow this sport are a number of things, but excitement in the sport, stars to emulate, right? Why do people play soccer when they start, when they're really young? Or basketball, because they see stars that they really want to be like. We can do that in water polo too. And if we have, our 18Us playing on the same pool deck as some of our men's league, that helps. Brings more people into the stands, right? And if we can keep doing that and promoting these teams and promoting these players, I think we'll get more eyeballs, and I think we'll get more sponsors that way, and I think we'll help grow the National League, which has been spectacular.
You bring that perspective, as you said, of being a water polo parent, right? Also someone that's just enjoying the sport, someone who loves aquatics. Putting on your dad hat there for a minute, you talk about the 18U and kind of that next generation getting an opportunity. What do you sense from that age group? Maybe things you're hearing from your kids, other people in your community about that added opportunity. As you said, if you see it, you can be it sort of mentality of getting a chance to be alongside some people that you aspire to be like.
Sure. Not only do they, after their games are done, they stay around and watch these guys play. And oftentimes the men's league players will talk to them, right? Hey, how you doing? Watched your game beforehand, and give them tips and give them thoughts. And the 18U players, watch and say, hey, they play just like us, right? Maybe we can jump in and compete against those guys. So much goes into it. And it's not just, our USA youth team and our USA B team. Watching those teams play against these men's league teams has been great for our younger kids too, right? Hey, look, those guys are actually my year and they're playing in this and they're keeping in and they're winning games. And so that helps as well. So it's not just playing in some of these games for the 18U teams, but it's also watching some of these USA teams also compete against the men's teams.
What's the dream going forward? This is obviously the first go around here to have prize money, and it's going to be, I think, a very cool moment on Sunday when the big check is presented to the winning team. But do you have visions, thoughts, ideas for what you'd love to see down the road?
I hope we continue to grow, right? Having the Northern California League, expand. Hopefully we can bring in teams from all over the country, right? I mean, where USA Water Polo has done a great job of growing the sport, in places like Greenwich and in the Midwest, right? I grew up in the Midwest. We didn't have water polo. I would love to see teams from Chicago. I would love to see teams from Texas, Florida, places, that aren't usually represented in events like these. Let's continue to help the sport grow and make this a big thing. Can it be more than 4 or 5 weekends? Sure. Why not? Can the prize money be bigger? Of course. Look, Holos Law Group is a small law firm. And look, it's a decent sized check, but can it be bigger? Absolutely. Maybe next year we get people to sponsor, third place. One company sponsors third place and gives more, right? One sponsors second place for silver and it gives even more, and one sponsors first place for gold. Let's keep this going. Let's bring in bigger sponsors. I'd love to say, Holos Law Group will continue to grow and sponsor, even bigger prize money, but there are bigger fish out there that I think would love to be a part of USA Water Polo and the National League.
Yeah, no doubt. We obviously have quite a few partners involved in different areas. Holos Law Group bringing this additional element of prize money. It reminds me a little bit, I'm sure you were at the Paris Olympic Games, the energy of Flavor Flav supporting the teams. I bring him up because he was the first to kind of do that. You're kind of the first to do this with the National League. And that then gets other people thinking, hey, I could be maybe the first time, John, you've ever been compared to Flavor Flav, but you could maybe set the table for others to try to jump in and do the thing that you're doing.
Yeah, Greg, my favorite part about this whole thing has been people reaching out and saying, whoa, how'd you do that? Yeah. Tell me. And I just say the same thing to everyone. Look, it was just brainstorming. Let's come up with ideas to make a big impact, right? People love to give to things they're passionate about, and people give to USA Water Polo all the time. They didn't know that they could do something specific for National League, right? Mm-hmm. Or they didn't know that there are other ways than just giving to USA Water Polo to a general fund. Let's come up with ideas to bring more people in, right? To whether it's sponsors, whether it's individuals, but people reaching out and saying, wow, cool. I'm very happy you did that. I want to be a part. What can I do? Who should I talk to? And that's been huge because that's what this is all about. Let's get more people involved. Let's grow the sport. Let's bring more opportunities for people to play, whether that's at the youth level, whether that's at the collegiate level, whether that's at the National League level, right? Let's bring excitement, opportunities, and the growth will be there.
Well, John, this is awesome. Cannot wait for this weekend. Semifinals again at Servite High School. Final Sunday at Willett. Again, that prize money, thanks to John and Holos Law Group, on the line here. It's going to create a whole lot of energy. Those semis are going to be intense. The finals are going to be pretty epic. We're looking forward to an awesome weekend. And thanks for all your support and everything you're doing for the National League in Water Polo.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to the weekend and handing out those big checks. Happy Gilmore style. It will be fun. Everyone can poke fun and enjoy it. Look, let's have some fun with this.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Once again, thanks to John for joining us. Excited to see him hand out some big checks this weekend at the National League Championship. And our second part of the big conversation, more from the women of Troy. We checked in with head coach Casey Moon and some veterans on that team, Morgan Netherton and Maggie Johnson.
Maggie Johnson, to be in La Jolla and win a national championship as a senior, I couldn't script it better. How are you feeling?
I'm just so proud of our team. It's been a long time coming, and this is for all the alumni, all those who didn't win a natty, and so it just means so much to our university and to our program.
That game against Cal, you build a lead, they keep coming back. You knew they weren't going to quit. How did the Trojans find the resiliency to pull that off?
I think we got stops when we needed to, and Anna played phenomenal in goal, and then we just stepped up when we needed to offensively. It wasn't always pretty, but we stuck it out, and that just is a credit to our character.
Casey told us on the broadcast that Anna might be 5'7", but with her heart, she's over 7 feet tall. How would you describe the way she plays in goal?
Anna just brings so much fire, and she's so much more than just a goalie for us. She is like a leader in so many ways, and I'm just so proud of her because she really came into herself this year, and I don't have words. She's pretty amazing.
How do you describe the energy of a championship? It seems like always in those first quarters, there's this feeling out process of how the ref's going to call it and how is it feeling. How did you find a way to kind of settle in and play your style of water polo?
Our big thing has just been just being us and keeping our composure, and Cal played really, really well. So we knew that we just needed to calm down and keep playing our game and just getting stops when we needed to, and we did that.
And last thing for you, you were the speaker at the banquet on Thursday. I imagine when you took the stage, you dreamt of something better in a couple of days. How do you kind of tie those moments together?
Oh, it's hard because you take it day by day and you try and stay in the moment. But of course, this is just like something that you dream of. It was such a team effort. Everyone on this team has a role, and we like truly embodied that, and every single person embodied their role. I'm just so proud of our team. We really, it's so hard to like put into words, but it's pretty special.
Maggie, thanks for the time.
Yeah, thanks.
Morgan, ending your career this way couldn't be any better, but how do you describe winning a national championship?
I mean, I'm honestly still at a loss for words. I don't think it's really quite hit me yet, but like Maggie said, it's just amazing, and to do it with my best friends, there's nothing more I could ask for.
Cal, so tough. It's very hard to beat a team multiple times in a season. You were going to have to do it 4 times to win a national championship, so you guys know each other extremely well. What was the difference this time around?
I don't think there was a difference in the way we wanted to play water polo. I mean, our whole motto this season is let's be us, and we don't need to do more. We just need to be more, and as in be ourselves more. And coming to this game, we knew that Cal was going to fight, especially coming off such an amazing win in the semifinals. And we knew they weren't going to let up, and we just had to play moment by moment, play by play until the end.
Your coach has talked about this aspect of joy and trying to make it more fun, but this feels like very serious stuff. So how do you work the fun into the goal?
I think our pre-games are really fun. We always have dance parties before the game, and we like to keep it really loose. And we always like to smile at each other after every play and just kind of be where our feet are. So it's just fun when you're playing with your best friends.
And then water polo has, for me, the coolest celebration, right? There's the Gatorade baths and other sports, but everyone jumps into the pool. What is that moment like?
That was so unreal. Turning around and seeing my younger sister jump in with me was the most special feeling in the world, and everyone in the water hugging each other and just trying to stay afloat and breathe, and then turning around and waving to our parents and fans and friends in the crowd. It was a really special moment I know I'm going to remember forever.
Morgan, congrats and thanks for the time.
Thank you.
All right, we're here with Casey Moon, national champion. You've been on that quest for a while. You've had that success as an assistant and with both sides of the program, but what does it mean to do it as a head coach?
Yeah, I'm kind of a loss of words. I really feel this journey of water polo. I'm so fortunate of SC giving me an opportunity as a young coach. Year 19, year 3 as a head coach. I'm so grateful for the opportunity that SC has given to me and my family. But more importantly, and I've said this and I will say it all the time, it's about my players. My players are incredible. And it's because of them I have this opportunity, and it's because of them we have this opportunity to win a national championship. So it's so special.
You talked throughout the season about this aspect of joy and trying to make something pretty serious maybe a bit more fun. How did that play itself out in this final?
Yeah, that's just the group we have. We have, some goofballs for sure. They do really well in this aspect of joy. They say we got to turn to our friends and, our teammates, our coaches, and smile. I think you mentioned earlier, we come to the national championship game, they have their speaker and they're dancing. This aspect of having fun all the time, it really carries over. It really humbles me as a coach. And I'm just so fortunate for them.
You have this program, and we talked to a bunch of the seniors here, where the expectation is to be in this game and to win this game every single year. That is high stakes stuff. To pull this out at the end for these seniors, what does that mean to you and the staff?
Yeah, to wear SC on your chest, especially in the world of water polo, the community is so small. I told my team today, they wear SC on their chest, they got a massive target on it, and for them to burden SC water polo on their shoulders is incredible. And obviously for our 6 seniors, for their families to trust SC, for their families to trust me as a head coach, and to culminate with them with a national championship is pretty special. It's pretty special. So I'm so lucky to be a part of it and fortunate for that journey.
To get a little tactical here, as you look in that second half and Cal's coming back and you've got Kazanaga with 2 fouls, she's got to be careful. What do you think from just a pure water polo sense was the difference over the last 5 minutes?
Yeah, I think we have so many interchangeable pieces. We have some players that we have a traditional center. We have somebody and someone like Rachel who can play quite a different positions, as well as we have a lot of our attackers that can defend for us. So we could really kind of throw some different pieces out there and let the other team play puzzle and see what how they're going to adjust. yeah, I really believe the team we have, is really interchangeable in regards to understanding what their roles are and not being afraid of the moment. And that's something I challenged them with in the start of this tournament is we cannot be afraid to be a hero, and I think that's just kind of testament to the players that we have. And again, I have so many incredible players. It's not about one. We needed all 22 of them today. We needed all 22 to win, so so happy for them.
Emily Osmus told us she was not feeling well to start this tournament, and there were other players who were under the weather. After last year, I can understand why you might come to the weekend and think, man, is this just not our weekend? People are not feeling well. It's going to be a tough road. How did they overcome that to get to this?
Yeah, we have a resilient group. And from day one, we really challenged them about their character and their heart. Emily, she's a selfless player. She's incredible in her own right, but it's not about her. And it's about our players, and it's about her teammates. And yeah, she was struggling with being sick, but she wants to do everything in her power to get well. She would go out there and play 20% and die for her team. Not just her, but that'd be everybody else on our team. And for me to coach a group of young women like that is such a pleasure.
And last thing for you, there was this great moment, just mutual respect. Teammates hugging Cal and USC that know each other from international play. You give a warm hug to Corley Simmons. Just a lot of respect for that Cal team.
Yeah, for sure. Cora was one of the first ones, actually, when I was appointed head coach. She sent me a text and say congrats. And that really meant a lot to me. And she's one of the coaches that I have a lot of respect for. Obviously, this is culminating, 25 years of her first national championship. And she's been around the world of water polo tremendously. And she's always one that is, regardless of what's on her chest, what's on my chest, school-wise, she'll give me a hug. And I have a lot of respect for that team and a lot of respect for her.
Casey Moon, congrats, and enjoy the rest of the celebration.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Fight on.
Now we turn to our Malmston goalie save of the week. If you watched the NCAA final, you know that Newport Beach native Anna Reed was lights out. The USC keeper made all kinds of critical saves. Here's a look back at some of her best work.
Thanks for being here. Sorry to take you away from the celebration. What an effort from you in goal. We're talking about it. Look, you know it, 5'7", you're not the biggest goalie to ever play.
Yeah.
Tell me about, Casey Moon said your heart gives you 2 feet, so you're about 7'7".
Yeah.
Tell me about your approach and what worked well tonight for you.
Yeah, no, I think the big moments, I live for it. I just I feed off of the adrenaline for my teammates, for my family. Oh my God, our Trojan family, way to show up. And that's what being a Trojan is all about. And I'm sure Kaylee knows all about that. But I live for it. Those are my favorite games to play in. Yesterday was so much fun, and my approach to today, I guess I would it was kind of just that fight on mentality, and continuing to push even when you feel like you have nothing left, and just making the most of it and enjoying every single moment and staying positive. We had so much fun today. If you look at every girl in the pool, we get scored on, we smile. We score, we smile. That's our approach, and it worked.
Yeah, Emily and Casey both mentioned that this team likes to have fun, and you clearly did in the pool tonight. But talk us through a couple of those point-blank blocks.
Yeah, no, I mean, it comes down to scouting. I knew a couple of those shots were coming, and some of them I knew were coming, and I still didn't get them. But it's just it's scouting. I was ready. We were ready.
As we see some of your blocks here, we talked to Casey, talked to Emily. You know that Cal's going to surge back. Yeah. How did your group stay together to make sure this didn't happen last year's result?
Yeah, no, I think that was winning every single quarter was what we wanted to focus on today. We usually put a big emphasis on the third quarter, winning the third quarter, but today we wanted to win every single quarter. And it's just, I know that maybe that didn't happen, but it's that mentality is just we fight and we fight and we fight until the very last second, and that's what you saw in the pool today.
Anna Reed, congrats. Enjoy the celebration with the rest of your team. Thanks for being here. National champions in 2026, and the celebration just getting started for USC.
Don't forget, you can share your favorite plays. Send us a DM, tag us at USAWP. We'll share what you're sharing each week as we try to highlight some of the best goals, blocks, defense, more from the sport of water polo. Now on to our upcoming events. National League Championship, we've told you once, told you twice, 3 times. It's on tap this weekend in a major way in Orange County. Make sure you're there. Free admission if you're anywhere in the area. Otherwise, live streaming right here on Overnght Live Stats on 6/8 Sports. Then as we get into next month, more events on the way. The Men's Senior Nationals back down in San Diego. UCSD, always a great host for this event. May 15th through the 17th, you'll see a lot of the athletes and clubs that you like from the National League competing in the Senior Nationals. And then last but not least, welcome to Texas Showdown, powered by Malmston, down in San Antonio, May 29th through the 31st. More information on all these events available now at usawaterpolo.org. That'll do it for this week's show. Thanks so much for joining. And don't forget, when you're on the counterattack, look weak side.